Pricing is really what contracting people do. I'm a nurse. I can't negotiate. I'm a green. I don't negotiate. Give me your best and final offer. And when they say, okay, here it is, I say that's their best and final offer. Don't come with a cheaper price down the road when I choose somebody else. I'm not negotiating. That's the way I buy a car. I do the research, go to the car dealer and say, here's what I'll pay you. And they say no. I say, all right. That car is sold in 100 car shops. I'll send 100 emails out. All I need is one. I'm not negotiating. I don't do that well. Contracting people, y'all know Rita Manuel Bird? She can contract. She can negotiate. She does that stuff without think. I would never buy a car from her. I'd pay too much. There are people that do this for a living. Not my world. So pricing is their game. Utilization is ours. How we use what we use. Quick story about how sloppy Gigi is. True story. I published this in a journal. Wrote it up and published it. I got 9 pediatric surgeons, all doing laparoscopic surgery. Laparoscopic means instead of cutting a hole in you, cut little holes in you and stick instruments in, blow it up, and it's laparoscopic. It's much better, get out of the hospital faster, infections are less, much less pain afterwards. It's better, laparoscopic. So they did laparoscopic appendectomies, hernia repairs, take out your gallbladder, stuff like that. I got 9 docs doing the same thing. All of in the OR, you have staplers and you have reloads. Reloads are the staples themselves you put in the staple. Stapler's about $400, reloads are about $200. $600 for stapler and reloads. I got one doc using 3 reloads. There's like 20 staples in it. He's using 3 of them. $200 each. Colleagues, 1 reload. Stapler and a reload. One guy, Dr. Gigi, using 3 of them. Remember, variation. That's data. That's variation in data. It's unwanted variation in data. Gigi's outcomes ain't better. Her patients aren't better. They don't have less pain. They don't get out of the hospital faster. So why are you using 3? We get a meeting. We put the data up. Her colleagues do what Aisa just did. They look at her like, what are you doing? Dr. Gigi got really defensive because I don't blind data. I had names. Dr. Gigi said, I ain't never used 3 reloads in my life. Oh, maybe my data's bad. As Raul can tell you, I ain't no PeopleSoft expert. Maybe I might have run the data bad. I apologize. I'll go back and check. Data was right. So I go back to Gigi's team. Scrub tech, OR circulator, all that in the OR. Help me understand this. Gigi works with a surgical tech, scrub tech, almost all the time, for every surgery. That scrub tech says, yeah, he only uses 1 reload. But one time back in 1942, I reached for the reload and dropped it. And had to get another one, which was out of the OR in the sterile core. It took me 30 seconds to go get it. When I got it, he was pissed. That's 30 seconds of wasted time. Patient under anesthesia for unnecessary time. So from that point on, I brought 2 in and opened 2 in case I drop one again. And then there was a time when he needed a 3rd one because there was a malfunction. So now I just grab 3 for every case and I open them all up just because I ain't getting yelled at no more. This is a guy making $18 an hour. This is a surgeon making $500,000 a year. We go back to Dr. Gigi and say, here's what your team told us. And we do this in front of her colleagues. And dude, Dr. Gigi says, holy I don't remember that at all, but I believe it. I need to go apologize to them. I'll never do that again. And Dr. Gigi goes back to her team and says, why don't you pull 2, but don't open the second one. And if we don't need it, put it back on the shelf. Now Gigi's utilization comes back in line with the rest. And she's saving $400 a case, not just in costs for us, but in the patient's bill. Identify unwanted variation and intervene. Now, if her colleagues hadn't helped, that might have struggled.
So the patient was getting charged for 3?
Yeah. If you open it, you bought it. So you're overcharging the patient because Dr. Gigi was snarky in 1942.
I could see that.
And it was snarky because I got a patient under anesthesia for no reason for 30 seconds because you knocked that off the table. You're a klutz. And called him worse names than that. That translated to a higher bill, a higher copay, higher costs for no clinical reason whatsoever because the doctor was stupid. We didn't say it that way, but his colleagues did. Make sense? So that's utilization. It's not what we pay, it's how we use or how many we use, how often we use. Why use 3 if you could use 2 or 1? What do other people use? What are their outcomes, etc.? Utilization is the fun part.